guys, this is the Retro Flora Podcast. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Charmy, and we're just two crazy sisters with an opinion and a channel.
If you like true crime, conspiracies, and supernatural crap, then this is your channel. Well, welcome back. And if you're new, well, welcome. It's the day after Mother's Day we're recording. Normally we record on Sundays,
Or Fridays.
But yeah, how was your weekend?
Nothing new, just
same old.
Yeah.
Well, my weekend was new because my friend asked me to be an extra in his film that he's doing for his film school. So that was interesting. It's a lot of work that goes into film. Kudos to all you producers, directors, everyone, because that's a lot of work. And
No, what's funny is that she was there all day and they didn't even film anything.
No, we were just literally going on rehearsal and blocking and all this stuff that I didn't know
nothing about.
I was just like, oh, okay, I'm just an extra, but okay, just tell me what to do. And I just literally thought I was just going to be in the background walking. I didn't know that there was going to be a scene where I'm walking down the hallway with this paper and they're filming me, and I was like, crap, man, I didn't know I was going to be doing all this. I just thought I was a background person.
Well, today we have a scary story for you guys.
Yeah, I found it on Reddit. You know, I've been on a little Reddit dive, just deep diving into Reddit because I'm new to it. And oh my God, I spend hours reading stuff and then I'm scared at night.
That's what you get.
Yeah, I know. But because of that, I have this story for you. And it comes from the No Sleep Reddit, and it's by Rising Mac. And it's called, this is a long title, I know, sorry. It's called, My Son's Camera Monitor Alerted in the Middle of the Night. I checked it and saw my wife and son sitting on the bed. They weren't my wife and son.
And this came out 5 years ago, y'all. I'm not country, I just say that.
I know, we're from California, and we do say you guys, but we say y'all too.
I think it's because we have roots in the South.
I think so too, we do.
Because we
go to reunions and stuff out there, so yeah.
So without further ado, let's get into it.
I'm a nurse, and I currently work nights. It's a total drag, but I'm hopeful I can go to days soon since some of my coworkers are planning retirements. Anyway, I was working one night when just after 3 a.m. my son's monitor alerted me to the sound and movement. No big deal at all. He's probably coughed loudly or sneezed or something. He's 3 now, so he generally sleeps all night. I bring it up on my phone and see him and my wife sitting on the bed. Again, no big deal. He might have cried out or gotten scared or something. I was about to close the app when I noticed they were acting strange, almost creepy. And when I say almost creepy, I mean creepy as balls.
What's creepy as balls? That's such a weird simile.
Maybe he's talking about
I know similes versus metaphors.
Oh my God. Maybe he's talking about men's balls.
Man's balls are creepy?
This is funny, but the scene on Men in Black when he's the ball chinny.
Oh my God, they were so ugly. Yeah, okay, now I get it.
They were sitting on the bed together, both of them, just staring up at the camera with blank, emotionless stares. The night vision is black and white, so they had white, eerie-looking eyes. They didn't move at all, aside from the visible breathing. They just sat there staring at the camera. I close the app and give my wife a call to make sure everything is okay. I never get to call home on lunch, so in a way, this is kind of nice to get to talk to my family while at work. It rings a couple of times before she answers with a very groggy hello. It was like she was dead asleep when I called, and she looked wide awake on camera. Hey, you guys okay? Huh? Yeah, buddy, my son's nickname, came in 15 minutes ago. He seemed scared, so I said he could sleep with me. I'm confused here since I saw them in his room a minute ago. Literally 60 seconds had passed since I closed the app and made the call. Wait, you guys are in bed? Yeah, I fell back asleep right away. Everything okay? Everybody keeps waking me up. She's kind of annoyed. Hang on a sec. I put her on speaker and bring up the app, hoping I didn't see it. When the app loads, I get that pang of intense nervousness in my stomach that I hadn't had in a long time. Since I was a kid in school and realized while I was eating breakfast, a paper or something was due that day and I hadn't done it. My heart leaped in my throat. My wife and son are sitting on his bed looking up at the camera, same emotionalist stares. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't know what I would do.
Tell them to get out the house.
Well, yeah, that, but I mean, I can understand that fear, dude, because seeing her, talking to her on the phone and you're looking dead at the camera and she's just sitting there is so scary. Hello? You guys are in bed, right? Yeah, we're trying to sleep. Well, I'm looking.
Get your butt up and leave.
Well, I'm looking at his camera and I see you two sitting on his bed. Huh? No, we're in our bed. I know that. I know that's what you mean, but I'm looking at his bed and you two are in there. Hang on, she said. She's quiet for a sec while she brings up the camera on her phone. I hear this guttural, terrified gasp, like she had sucked all the air in the room into her lungs, filling them to capacity. I didn't hear this kind of gasp from my wife often. Usually only when she's truly afraid, like during a jump scare in a movie or one time when we turned her back on our son. I think they meant to say when we turned our back on our son for a literal second and he was down by the mailbox inches from the road.
What's with these run-on sentences?
Yeah, I know. That sentence didn't make sense. I'm sorry. Usually only when she's truly afraid, like during a jump scare in a movie or one time when we turned our backs on our son for literally a second and he was down by the mailbox inches away from the road.
The second example was unneeded. They should just stop with the scary movie example.
I hear rustling of sheets and the line goes dead. Oh, heck no. Yeah, like you can't tell me, hold on, and then the line goes dead after I
swear, if he goes over there without calling the police.
Terrified, I immediately called them back. It goes to voicemail, so I call again. I call again and again with no answer. Finally, after about 4 minutes, she calls me. I tell you that 4 minutes felt like 40 years. Hey, what's happening? I asked. She's absolutely hysterical and crying. I can't understand a word she says. Stop, slow down for a second, I say. She slows down enough to explain they are in the car and driving to her parents. She looked at the camera, and when she saw that what was on it, she got up, grabbed our son, and rushed downstairs and out of the door. Didn't even close the garage.
Smart mother.
Right.
Get out.
Don't worry about it, I said. I'll drive by when I get off, and I'll close it. We live in a generally safe neighborhood, so I'm not too concerned that the door is up.
You're so safe that there's strangers in your house at this very moment.
That look like your wife and kid.
Doppelganger.
You will not go in there, she says. No, I return. Why are we on the camera, she asks. Is it a recording? I don't know.
I don't know, girl. Have you sat on your son's bed and stayed there for so long?
Not even so long, just like, even if it's a recording, like even you'd have to stare at the camera for 2 seconds. So that's the thing. Like, were you ever sitting on the bed staring at the camera?
Really?
I don't know, I return. I'm gonna keep watching it and see if there's anything I can tell. Do our code words with Buddy. Oh, that's kind of smart to have code words, just in case. We have code words because we're nerds. Hey, same! Except for you don't have no code words.
I feel like you should have a code word even if you're not a nerd. You know, safety
but our nerd
reasons.
code word is going to be like something nerdy.
Tangerine.
Girl, you can't say the code word while we're doing the podcast.
Okay, well,
it's not tangerine. Our code word is not tangerine.
I love tangerines.
We've seen too many pod people and imposter movies. Oh, well, yeah. So we decided a long time ago to make code words with each other to be able to tell if one of us was an imposter.
We should do that, but with phrases. Like, we should say a phrase, and then you have to say the right phrase back.
Yeah, but we can't use any Family Guy phrases because I feel like a lot of people will know those phrases.
Okay, well, we'll just make up our own.
We have a couple code words, but we also have a 3-sentence story we recite together, each saying a different part. I hear her on the phone saying the things we taught our son. He giggles as he says them. He does that every time we practice, since he thinks they're a joke and doesn't have any idea of the real meaning. We're both convinced he's our son. My wife then says her part, and I'm convinced she's her. We made up these words as a complete joke to ourselves. I never once in my life ever imagined we'd actually need them. Unreal. She got to her parents safely, and it was hard to hang up. I told her we'll figure it out in the morning. Hopefully it's just a glitch. She says she doesn't think it's a glitch. When she was running out, she had to run by our son's room, and the door was open. There's a little flashing light on the back of the camera that indicates it's connected to the internet. It gives off just enough light that when she ran by, she thought she saw, out of the corner of her eye, a shadowy outline of what could have been an adult sitting on our son's bed. It sent chills down my spine to think about. Knowing they were safe and out of the house is the only thing that kept me at work that night. It was a long 4 hours, but I kept checking the camera every chance I got. Sure enough, they were still sitting on the bed staring up at the camera with emotionless gazes. I studied them to see if I could see any pattern, from their breathing to their blinking. Their breathing was steady and looked normal. It was their blinking that would tell me if this was just some kind of bizarre time-looped freak accident video or not. I intentionally stare at my phone and I count the seconds between each blink, telling myself that if this is a loop, then the blinks should be even and occur at the same time each time. There was no pattern to their blinks. It was erratic and random, just as a person blinking should be. The passing hours are what finally sealed the deal that this was not a weird looped video of some kind. My son's window is visible on camera, and I can see on camera that it is getting lighter outside his room. Oh my god, that's creepy. Like, I know that's like a small little detail, but like,
it's just the sun. Huh?
I know it's just the sun, but now you, like, you know how when you tell yourself, like, if the door opens, you're just like, oh, that's just the wind. But imagine you're saying, oh, it's just the wind, and outside it's like sunny and dry. Then you're gonna be like, scientifically, I don't think it was the wind. Now I gotta go to the other paranormal options. And yeah, knowing that the light is coming in, I'm like, damn. It's not a time loop. Like, these are, I don't know what the heck's sitting on your son's bed, but it's not your wife and son. His curtains keep out just enough light to prevent the camera from exiting night vision, but let in just enough to be able to see the sun is rising. I try to figure out what the hell I'm going to do before I leave work. Calling the police comes to mind, but I talk myself out of it. First of all, what am I supposed to say?
There's people in your house. That's all you need to say.
Okay, well, I don't know.
And they're in my son's bedroom.
Someone is in my house that looks like my wife but isn't.
You don't have to say the last part.
Or worse yet, what if they are entities of some kind and the police do go over and it kills them or something?
And then it's collateral damage.
Oh my god, it's charming.
But else goes to the priest, like, whoever goes in there gonna die. Yeah. Burn down the house? I don't know.
Well, this was 5 years ago. Was Ed and Lauren alive?
They're dead.
I know they're dead now. Were they dead 5 years ago?
I think so.
Hold on.
What year is this?
Hold on. Quick pause. Okay, well, Ed died in 2006, and then Lorraine died in 2019. And
which could still be, well, it's 5 years ago, but
even if she was alive, she was about to die. So, like,
she's no help.
None of them can help. Unless their ghost can go over there and figure this out. I decided to tell a coworker about it. He's a firm believer in the paranormal and might have a suggestion. I showed him the video and tell him the story. His initial response of, that's creepy as doesn't help much. But he says he wants to go over and check it out.
Yeah, and if he dies, collateral damage.
You better look. We call it Scooby-Doo. Look, I'm not doing this. Okay.
So let Velma and them die.
Send a dog in. Send Scooby. Just kidding. Scooby's my favorite character. Send Fred in. He says we both should go to see if not my wife will try and act like my wife. I don't know. I don't know what's creepier, if she does try to act like your wife or if she just continuously sits there.
I'm not going back. What's the guy's name? Ed. He doesn't have a name.
Yeah, he didn't say his name. He didn't say his coworker's name.
Is stupid. I don't know why I thought it was Ed. It's not
Ed. I tell him absolutely not, and he says we should at least go to the house even if we don't go in. I agree on that since I wanted to close the garage.
I agree. We burn it down. And we start a new life.
I hope y'all have insurance. We got to my house and walked around the perimeter first. Not sure what we wanted to accomplish by that, but it felt like something we should do. The curtains were all drawn since nobody was there to open them in the morning, so we couldn't see anything. I went to close the garage and suddenly had this overwhelming urge to go inside and investigate. It was like I just had to know what was going on. So we went in. Yeah, see, no, y'all got a drone? Like, send that in before I go in. Like, you got a remote control car that you put your phone on? Because we're not doing that.
That's just like horror movie 101.
Right, don't go in. I don't care how strong this urge is, don't do it. We walked through the kitchen towards the foyer. I don't know why I can't say that. We have one at church and we literally say it all the time. Where the stairs are. It's so quiet in our house right now. You could hear a feather drop. Forget the pen. I just got it. We stop at the bottom of the stairs and wait a few seconds. I look at the camera again and they're still sitting there. I had never been so scared in my life. My coworker puts his foot on the first step and I suddenly say, "Stop," loudly. "Forget this, we're out of here," I tell him. "Come on." I start making my way back to the kitchen. We hear a loud creak in the floor from upstairs. It's my son's room.
You just know it's automatically your son's room?
Well, he's about to explain it. He has a very loud creaking board right in the middle of his floor that's almost impossible not to step on. My wife and I are still deciding if we want to fix it because it will alert us if he's up to no good when he gets older trying to sneak out or something. I feel like that sentence was necessary, but I get it.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
Come on, I yell as I motion for him to move his ass. We're out of the house in about 2 seconds. Out on the street, I check my phone. This is now, but it should say not. Not only not my son was sitting on the bed, same blank stare, not my wife was gone. Holy my coworker says. That was stupid as of us. Don't tell my wife we went inside. She would be so ungodly mad if she found out what we just did. I used my garage door opener in my car to close the door. Before we leave, we look at the camera again. Not my wife is back on the bed with not my son, both staring blankly at the camera, blinking every few seconds. I'm sorry, the not my, the
Not
title
my
of
wife.
not my is funny. That was about 4 days ago now. Not my wife and not my son are still sitting on the bed staring at the camera. They haven't moved a millimeter. We obviously haven't gone back to our house. What do we do?
Call the police. Call Ghostbusters.
I just want to kind of explain that not my wife when they stepped on the step, because I don't know if it was clear in this when I read it, but not my wife when they stepped on the step, she got up.
Okay.
Yeah, so she heard the step and she got up. And so
Why
when
did she
he
get
was,
up now, but not when the mom was there?
that I don't know, but she got up and she moved, and when that's why he's saying like not my son is still sitting there, but not my wife was not.
Yeah, she was gone.
Yeah, she was gone. And this is part 2 because we're not mean and we're not going to make you wait to another week for part 2.
Or in those shorts, so they give you like part 1, and then you gotta go through all the other
Oh
shorts
my god, I
to
hate
find
that.
part 2.
I know. I just sometimes just Google it and try to see if it's on Reddit.
Or like you go to the comments, will tell you. What happened.
Yeah. I'm sorry it's taken so long. It's been an emotional month. I felt like I'm losing
It's
my
been a month. And you're just staring at. You're not really doing anything.
I felt like I'm losing my mind or already lost it. I've been in the hospital for 3 weeks.
Why?
We're about to find out. So when he's saying it's been a month, like it's been a month since that first story, so where he's about to reiterate what just happened throughout that month.
Okay. I thought he was a month and the people still in his house.
Like, y'all still paying rent, huh? Y'all not even there.
I know, who's paying his electric bill?
Well, no electric bill since nobody's in there. You'll remember I left off at my wife's parents' house, not sure what to do. My wife and I argued about it. My in-laws said call the priest. I told my wife we're calling the cops and that's it. Yeah, because I mean you can call the priest, but like
You didn't want him to be sacrificed?
well, yeah, because you don't know what this thing is. It could be a threat, and you don't want to send an old elderly priest in there, and he
They're
just.
old. They're not old and all old and elderly.
I know, but I feel like the old and elderly ones get the job done better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess at this point you probably should just call the cops, show them like, hey, I don't know who this
And
is.
on the cam.
Yeah, like this is my wife right here.
Yeah,
I don't know who this is. Not my wife. The day we finally called the cops would be day 6. Not my family was still sitting on the goddamn bed staring at the camera. I told the dispatcher there were intruders in my house, leaving out the part where they looked exactly like my family.
Yeah, that's what I told you to do. Exactly.
I told her we were out of the house, but I would meet the police there. She dispatched 2 units. My wife begged me not to go. I told her I had to be there. I had a foolproof plan. I would take her mom's iPhone and FaceTime my wife while showing the police the camera on my phone. They would see this is a up situation and hopefully proceed with caution. My coworker friend said he would come with me as well. Your coworker friend is living his dream right now.
He's either really crazy or he really likes you.
No, I think he might just really like the paranormal.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
just
saying.
like,
He's crazy.
you don't have to be crazy like the paranormal. Like, I'm not gonna do it. I think that's wild. But
And you like paranormal, but you also love yourself, and you're not gonna just go up in some random ghost house.
yeah, the way my anxiety is built is that's not happening.
Yeah.
My friend and I beat the cops to my house. Like most of you mentioned in the comments previously, I was packing heat. Oh, okay, I see you.
Shooting what?
He said he about to shoot this entity. Wait, I'm sorry, side note, but it just makes me think about that story I was telling you about. Basically, this girl was stabbing a ghost that was coming from underneath her bed because she wanted to study and the ghost was messing with her. And she was violently stabbing the hand and the parents had to come in and pull her out of there. And after that, they didn't really have any hauntings. When she was there, the ghost was afraid of her. That's what I'm thinking about.
I don't think this can go the same way.
No, I don't think so either. I think that this ghost might fight them. I haven't concealed carry, so I had my 1911.45 on me.
Why you have a gun from 1911?
I don't know.
I think that's the year. I don't know gun speech.
I think it's a 1911.
Get a more updated gun. At least one in this
He
century.
said, nah, they going out with a classic.
This gun is over 100 years old.
Yeah, it is. I was not concerned this would bother the cops, so I was going to inform them of my permit and that I was currently carrying. What I wasn't going to tell them was that I had my father-in-law's AR-15 in my trunk.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. You should not tell them that.
Like, yeah, this is my little 1911.45. No need to look in the trunk to see my AR-15.
My big ass gun.
It's almost funny how many of you mentioned that there was the way to go in the previous entry. I didn't plan on telling the cops about it because I hadn't planned on needing it. They would come armed and prepared. They showed up and I let them know I was armed and then enacted my plan. I wonder what they're thinking about this plan.
Like, why'd you even call me?
I initially told them the story. They looked at each other like I was crazy and they didn't believe me. I FaceTimed my wife so they could see she was in fact not in the house despite what our camera was showing. They still didn't seem to believe me, but this did pique their interest. I hung up with my wife and told her I'd call her back as soon as we know something. Man, that has to be, like, as the wife, sitting there and waiting is, like, so scary. I'll be watching the camera.
I was just like, what's the insurance on my husband?
That's terrible.
How much money I get?
Like, on the phone right now with Ghostbusters and Mythbusters and everybody who needs to come to my house. So now we're sure this isn't a recording, an officer stated, repeating what I said. It's not. The day/night cycle has changed every day. Their blinking is erratic and not cynical like it's on repeat, I said. I know, it's a stupid question, but your wife isn't a twin, the other officer asked. I told him no. My friend spoke up. I have an idea. Turn the volume up. I'll throw a pebble at the window.
Same thing.
Yeah, yes, same thing. He ran around back while I turned up the volume to max. Okay, I'm tossing. We heard the light tick sound from outside, but the 1 second delay on the camera came in loud and clear through my phone. Not my wife moved at the sound of the pebble hitting the window. The first time I'd seen her move since, aside from the time she wasn't on screen when I initially went inside of our house the first day.
Another run-on sentence.
She turned her head towards the window just slightly before turning back to the camera. I wonder why they just are staring at this camera. I mean, they've been sitting in the same exact spot for 6 days. Are they filter feeding?
Yes. I mean, honestly, we think they're human. They might not be.
You're right. Okay, so this is live, an officer said. Okay, sir, I need you and your friend to stay outside. We're going to go in and find out what's going on in here. Should you ask for more units? I asked hopefully. Not at this time. We're going to assess the situation. They don't appear to be armed, but we're going to be cautious. Okay, but they could be armed with things you don't even understand.
Yeah.
I opened the garage for them and they made their way in towards my kitchen door. They radio dispatched that they were headed inside and to stand by. They disappeared into my house. A few seconds after they went in, the camera went out. Oh no. Convenient.
Did the body cam go out?
Well, he's not looking at the police's body cam. I wanted to vomit and I felt like if I put my fingers in my mouth, I'd be able to feel my heart since it had leaped so far up my throat. I was wondering where he was going there because I'm like, where?
Some of these analogies, or is that? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, analogies.
Descriptive. It could be a metaphor too. I don't know.
I just know that when he was saying that he could put his fingers down his throat, I was like, yeah, then you would have vomited. I yelled to my friend. I immediately popped the trunk and got my rifle out and ran into the garage.
My God, you're so stupid.
My friend right behind me. We got inside just in time to hear a low gruntle howl from upstairs, demonic sounding almost, among with raised voices from the police. There were several shots. Need backup. Shots fired. Well, he was cut off. Oh my God, my friend howled. He was scared, but so was I. God, I knew it, I said, running upstairs.
You so stupid!
My son's room is the first one you come to after getting upstairs, so his wall is also what you see as you walk up the stairs. As I reached the top, I laid into the wall with my rifle. It has 30-round magazines, but I felt like I fired 100 shots. I fired all over the place, knowing full well the ammo would go through the wall like it was paper, concentrating on where my son's bed would be, but also near the door and towards the floor as well in case whatever these things were thought to duck. That was a long run-on sentence.
It really was. But also, that looks bad because you shot into the room.
I know, huh?
And if the other cops come in, it's going to look like you shot them.
We hear shrieks of pain coming from the room, then nothing. My friend and I paused for a minute before deciding to go in because the camera was still out. We heard a whimpering coming from the room. There was a dead cop in the hallway we had to step over, and I'll never be able to unsee it. His head was several feet away from his body in the threshold to our guest room. What? We found the other cop in my son's room right inside the doorway. He had several large holes in his torso as if he had been impaled. Exactly what I was afraid would happen.
That he'll be impaled?
I guess that the things would like do something. I called the cops, and whatever these things were killed them. When we entered the room, we found the source of the whimpering was not my wife. She was laying on her back on the floor, holding her torso where the bullet that was bullet-ridden and breathing heavily.
So you can hurt them.
Yeah.
Kill a kid.
The scene was awful. I could hardly put into words how awful it was. I know now, just like I did then, they were not my family. It should have been hard. I should have been able to just go in and finish it, but instead, I fell to my knees. Not my wife begged for her life. I don't want to die, honey, she whimpered. I want to have more kids. I can't die now. I looked over at not my son, who had to be dead. He had 2 shots, at least to the head, or what was left of it. Dang, that's crazy. He had several more in his torso and 1 or 2 on his leg and arms. If you have kids, seeing their lifeless, bullet-ridden body is a special kind of hell. Again, I knew it wasn't my son, but it was. Yeah, I guess that would kind of be messed up. Like, even though I know, like, it's not my sister. Like, if I came in there and saw you, not my sister, filled with holes, I would be like, like, even though you're not my sister, like, I don't want to see my sister like this.
They should have left. They shouldn't have been in my house.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Not my sister. Gonna be not my dad's sister.
Well, it will be not my sister is dead. I was going to be sick. I killed my family.
No, you didn't.
I turned back to not my wife. She was acting just like my wife. It even mimicked her anxiety about death that she had in the past year or so. It's not her, man. I forgot my friend was even there. It's not her. Shoot it.
Oh no, I don't trust his friend. Can we shoot the friend?
No, what the heck? He's going to jail.
I don't know. He just seems creepy.
He's into the paranormal.
Feel like he in on it.
I know what you guys are thinking. How many times has this happened in movies and you scream at your TV for the main character to just shoot the imposter because it's not their loved one? I guess the movies get it right somehow.
I don't like when he breaks the fourth wall and talks directly to us.
I'll never roll my eyes at the character who can't kill an imposter again. Don't shoot me, it begged. My hands were shaking as I aimed at it. Why couldn't I do it? I knew this wasn't my wife. Listen, man, my friend began calmly. Look at it. Its blood is yellow. It's not your family. It was yellow. It was. Seeing my family slain was so traumatic I hadn't even noticed their blood wasn't red. I don't know. That would probably be the first thing I noticed when I came in there and it's just leaking yellow blood. I'd be like, oh no, this is
disgusting.
This is
disgusting.
I steadied my aim and not my wife suddenly stopped begging. She began that guttural, terrifying shriek, and something black or gray started to protrude from her mouth like a tentacle or something, and I fired. At that,
now you fired.
Right. At that range, her head, more or less, exploded. Whatever these things were, they appeared to be mortal. I was still on my knees, and my friend was out in the hallways just outside the door. I heard the sound of approaching police sirens. I had forgotten one of the cops had gotten a shots fired call over the radio before being killed. It seemed like it had been hours, but it had only been about 5 minutes since the police had gone in. That's crazy. It seemed like it was hours.
He's stupid.
Oh my god. My friend went downstairs to let the police know what to expect. I stood up and slowly made my way into the hallway. I was lightheaded and felt like I was going to be sick. My bedroom is adjacent to my son's, so the door is about a foot to the right of my son's doorway. My door was closed, but as I exited my son's room, my door opened. Not me walked into the hallway wearing exactly the same thing I was at that time.
Shoot him!
That's so wild. I was shocked in place. I couldn't move, but it did. It walked towards me, and its right arm turned black and morphed into what appeared to be a tentacle. It was wiggling around like a squid or octopus appendage. When he thrust his arm at me,
You're so stupid.
It solidified and impaled me through my abdomen. Abdomen. Sorry. Y'all, I'm sorry. It then stabbed me in the left leg just above the kneecap. Oh no.
This is why you shoot first and ask questions later.
Please don't shoot first and ask questions later. In this situation, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But in other situations, maybe not so.
He gave them 6 days. He gave him 6 seconds.
I don't even think it's that. His arm just turned into a tentacle, so I think you can just go ahead and shoot. I fell to the ground in pain. Its tentacle arm was wiggling again. Why did you kill my family? It asked. When it spoke, its voice changed several pitches.
Because you in my house.
It was my voice, then much deeper, then normal again. It alternated several times, saying that one sentence. It moved in closer. The rifle was gone, but I still had my .45. I pulled it out and got shots off in his right knee. It howled. As Not Me fell to the ground, I fired a couple more times, getting 2 into his abdomen and the left side of his ribs. It breathed heavily for a few seconds before I used my last strength to aim properly and shoot Not Me in the face. His blood was also yellow.
Where's the other cops that the sirens came from?
They're eating donuts right now. I lay there bleeding out, thinking this was it for sure. I still had some strength from...
Where's your friend?
He was downstairs letting the cops in. I don't know how long this... I guess... since that whole other interaction was only 5 minutes, I'm assuming this probably only was like 15 to 30 seconds. I still had some strength from adrenaline kicking in, so I took my belt off and tried to make a tourniquet for my leg. Oh yeah, he's a nurse. That makes sense, yes. With my stomach wound, it was hard to give it a good yank to tighten it. I then took my shirt off and balled it up and packed my stomach wound and applied as much pressure as I could. Being a nurse probably saved my life. I passed out, but the measures I took must have kept me alive long enough for the EMS to arrive. I heard raised voices and the sound of pounding coming from upstairs before I went out. It was probably a cop, but I felt pressure from somebody trying to keep my wound packed before I went out. I was in and out of consciousness as EMS arrived along with probably every cop in the city. I was wheeled downstairs and put in an ambulance, but while I was being loaded onto the gurney upstairs, I heard cops freaking out, and rightfully so. They'd lost 2 brothers, and there were 3 other bodies. Did he kill his brother? Are they twins? Probably referring to Not Me's dead body. Or his whole family? Put him on armed guard while at the hospital. He'll probably be getting charged. That's crazy. They don't see that their blood is yellow?
Yeah, I know, right? The cops are in on it.
As I was getting placed into the ambulance, I saw my friend talking to a group of 10 cops. Wait, I thought he passed out. Okay, whatever. All listening very intently to what he was saying. I went out again in the ambulance. Okay, so he's going in and out. I woke up in the ER. My wounds had been treated. The tentacle hadn't been more than a few inches wide, so it was just slightly larger than a large knife. Okay, but that's still...
Yeah, so they said that he killed his family, but he also was injured, so...
They'd sewn me up, and I found that I was currently receiving a blood transfusion due to blood loss at my home. My wife had authorized them to do whatever they needed while I was unconscious.
Well, at least he's not being charged for murder.
She was also extremely pissed that I went into the house. We're okay now, but that's a story for another day. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks since I ended up getting an infection and almost went septic. I needed quite a few antibiotics. For the entire 3 weeks, I had cops in my room with questions. After about a week, they released me and no longer had me under armed guard. I told them absolutely everything, not caring if it made sense or not. And thank God my friend had come with me since he was able to corroborate with this weird story. Midway through my hospital stay, men with suits came to pay me a visit. They were government. I knew right away. Men in black. Men in black.
Men in black. Lizard people.
They said they were the FBI, but I don't know if I believe that. They wanted to talk about not my family. The police chief and the coroner were involved, and it was very hush-hush. They made it clear that this was not to get out to the public, except for now, as it's on Reddit.
Yeah.
This is where I have to apologize, probably for an anticlimactic ending to this ordeal. I don't know what Not Me and Not My Family were. Neither do they. The only thing we know is that they were sentient creatures that looked like us and had yellow blood. And by the way, the word sentient, because I didn't know what that meant, sentient or whatever, it means like they have feelings. So they had feelings, but they weren't human. I begged the coroner to tell me about their autopsies, but he said he wasn't allowed to say. He must have felt bad for me since I received a bouquet of flowers a couple days later. The card inside the envelope read, "We don't know what they are. They have the same organs we do, but in different parts of their body aside from their brain. But what's red and pink inside of us is green and yellow inside of them. They're humanoid creatures, but whatever they are, they aren't human. The government thinks they may be extraterrestrial. Destroy this letter ASAP. They had our houses professionally cleaned. It was almost surely a government team since they contacted us on behalf of the police. We cannot find any Google reviews or website for the company online. My wife and I are not going back to our house. We would love to burn it down, but there's no way to do that and avoid suspicion of arson at this point. We'll end up taking a huge loss on the property since everyone in our neighborhood knows there was an incident involving multiple deaths in the house, but don't know what exactly happened. It'll be hard to sell, but eventually it will. I told everybody at work it was a home invasion and they bought it. I'll go back to work in a couple weeks and we'll start looking for a new house. Again, I'm sorry. I know everybody wants a concrete ending and to know exactly what those things were, but we just don't know. Aliens sound good to me. I've been thinking if they were supernatural or actual demons, gunfire wouldn't have been able to kill them. But it's just hard to say. If they were aliens, why did they just sit there and creep in our house for a week? They didn't even try to take over our lives. It's hard to wrap my head around. If it is aliens, keep your eyes peeled out. There could be more of them. Dun dun dun, the end. Yeah, I don't know what they are. Cause I mean, they could be aliens, but why did they just come here to sit on his bed for a week?
I don't know. What was the not me doing in his bedroom the entire time?
No, because his mom, the wife and kid were in there the first night, so I'm trying to figure out what he was doing. Was he just in the closet watching them or something?
But she never said anything about him.
Or maybe she didn't see him, because we didn't know that there was a him to look for.
Yeah.
But I was kind of thinking, I was like, there's a quote unquote not so me wife and not so wife and not so son in the house, so there has to be a not so you. Now that you think about it.
And if he had a dog, be a not so dog.
I know. Wonder if what he would have been doing. But yeah, okay, so not so me literally heard all this gunfire and his wife begging to be saved, and then he finally comes out after his friend had time to go downstairs and let the police in.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't trust his friend.
Oh my god. His friend was there for the thrills. He's about to go create a blog and he's about to just go ahead and put all of this on there.
He was an unnecessary character.
No, I mean he was there to corroborate, so that helped his friend from I don't know what they were going to do, because honestly, even if they try to charge him,
his wife and children are still there.
What they would be charging him for, I'm not sure. Maybe the deaths of the cops, because you know how usually how this goes.
But the cops weren't killed by gunfire. They're killed by a decapitation and a hole in the chest.
Right, but you know how when you think of government cover-ups, they just put the blame on one person and then they'd be like, oh, the father went crazy and killed everybody. This story could have went that way where they just arrested him.
Kill everybody. You would also have to get rid of the wife and child.
True. Yeah, I don't know. This is creepy. Well, he could be framed he could be put to jail for killing the cops though. Yeah, the story was weird. I kind of feel like I liked how it was going in the beginning, and then when it turned to aliens, I was just kind of like, oh, this is where we're going.
It was okay. I feel like a lot of stuff could have been taken out.
A lot.
We're not
here to critique the writing, Charmy. I know you're a writer,
yeah, I do think it was lackluster at the end.
Yeah, I think it started off strong, and then it kind of just lost me.
Yeah.
Because I really want to know, were these doppelgangers, why are they sitting in your bed?
The fact that they didn't do anything but sit in your bed was weird.
I know. I think it would have been creepier if they did try to take over their lives. Well, that's
that one Edgar Allan Poe story that we talked about.
Well, you've made it to the end.
You must really like the sounds of our high-pitched voices and quirky commentary.
You might as well like and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell to be notified every time we drop new content. If you want to follow our social medias, they will be linked in the description box below.
Bye!
Bye! Hopefully not so views won't be out there.
Lizard people!